Hello again, everyone. Today I wanted to go through my dream journal, and I've been a little bit hesitant to show this one because this is the elusive Black Maverick, and it is not available on Chic Sparrow's website. So this is a Chic Sparrow A6 Black Maverick. I purchased this through an auction on Chic Sparrow's website, and for whatever reason, it wasn't as popular as the other Black Maverick notebooks that were selling that day, and so I actually got it for a fairly reasonable price. But if you try to buy this off of eBay or someplace like that, first off, they're very, very rare. You're not going to be able to find it, and generally, and if people are selling, they tend to sell for a lot. So I don't want you all to go out and try to find a super expensive notebook and spend a bunch of money. But I did kind of want to show it because it's so pretty. And also it's worthwhile to show you the setup in here, which is, for me, I'm using this as a dream journal. This particular notebook, which I'll show you, so this was the texture of the Black Maverick. This is probably more like a desert sun texture that they would have called this sort of crackled, pebbly look here. There's no real lightning strikes here. And this particular notebook was called Dark Side of the Moon. For all of the auction items, they title them. So given that it was called Dark Side of the Moon, and given that it's black, I do like an all black notebook. I have somewhat black inserts in here, but the moon is the main theme, and then I'm also using it as a dream journal. So I'm going to go ahead and get in here, but please know that this is not something that's readily available, and there may be other sellers actually that will sell you a Black Maverick. I don't know. I haven't searched. I know you can get this particular leather from leather sellers if you're interested in making your own. I have not delved into that territory yet. I'm slowly making my way up to that. I might at some point make a notebook, but in looking into leather materials and that sort of thing, you can get the Black Maverick color from leather sellers if you want to attempt to make your own. But I don't want you to go out and try to spend a bunch of money on a notebook that's fairly rare. Although it is beautiful, it's just not worth, dumping a ton of money on. That's my personal opinion. If I had not gotten this for the price that I did, I probably would not still be searching for one at this point. So all that aside, I'm going to go ahead and show you the setup that I have in here. So this is a deluxe. So we have a folio style pocket in the back, and then we have the normal pocket configuration in here. Again, you'll see I have migraine medication in here just in case I wake up with a terrible migraine, which sometimes happens. I keep this by my bed so that I can write notes or document my dreams in here. I tend to be a pretty vivid dreamer, so I generally remember my dreams when I wake up, and I don't always immediately grab this. I either do it when I have the time in the morning, or when I have a particularly vivid dream and want to document that, or if it's a dream that I think, what the heck was that? And wanted to kind of write it down. So that's the main purpose of this notebook. So like I was saying, I have migraine meds in here in case I wake up with a headache. I have the original receipt for this notebook just in case that ever comes up. I really don't plan to sell this one. I'm thinking that this is probably I'm going to keep this one for life kind of notebook. So, but I did want to keep the receipt given that this is a rare notebook. So my first notebook here, this is from, I think her name is Karen Davies on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on Etsy. And I have posted a notebook with one of her A6 notepads in it before. So, but I will provide that link again. I'm not sure if she's producing these right now because I did get this quite a while ago, but I just thought this Moon Dreamers notebook was kind of perfect for this particular layout. In here, I keep general notes. Sometimes I'll think of something right before bed and it will bother me if I don't write it down. So I will write those notes, even if it's simple as buy light bulbs You know, I do, that's something I don't want to forget, and then later I can look in here and make sure that I do whatever it is I needed to do, or I remember what I was thinking about before I went to bed, and that way it kind of clears my head before bed, and then I'm not worrying about remembering it during the night. So then this one, oh, who is the maker? I will provide a link down below. This, oh, there you go, Cognitive Surplus. They're based out of Portland, Oregon. They have a bunch of really neat notebooks with different cool covers on them. The paper is not the best for fountain pens, so just know that. If you're going to be writing with gel pens or something, that's going to be fine. But fountain pens do sometimes bleed through the pages, just FYI. This one they do not. I'm not sure what kind of paper she uses. Yes, Karen Davis. Her name's here on the back too. Great. So this paper is a little bit thicker and less prone to bleed than this one. And this one is in here for the same purpose, notes, and sometimes I'll keep track of my blood pressure before and after I wake up and that sort of thing. So that's what this is for. And again, it goes with the moon theme, which, you know, it's all moon themed in here. And then I have a Estella Gee notebook where I actually write down my dreams. So this sticker is one that I got off of Etsy. I checked recently and the person that I bought this from is no longer selling these, so I'm not going to provide a link, but you probably could do a Google search if you want a sticker like this and find someone who's selling something like it. But this is Estella Gee. It's an A6 Estella Gee. I'm not going to show you the insides because, you know, sometimes I have some really weird dreams, folks. And I don't really want to share that with you all. Sorry. But, and I haven't, and I'm not prolific with that. So I've probably, you know, filled out maybe an eighth of this notebook with dreams. But it actually works pretty well for the fountain pen that I have in here, which I'll go into in a minute. And when I write them down, I will circle the date up here at the top. These dates are so tiny up at the top. You know, if I were just using this as a regular journal, I may just completely ignore those. But since I am trying to kind of document when I'm having the dreams, I will circle them. But it's very hard to see, especially with the A6 version, so which is what this is. But I find it to be passable paper for fountain pens. It's not as good, in my opinion, as a Tomoe River notebook, but it's still pretty good. And then I don't have anything on the back there, so I'll go ahead and close this up and then I will show you the pen. So this is a Pilot Cavalier, and this is sort of a, actually I'm going to put that up there so you can see this a little better. And this is a fairly inexpensive fountain pen. It's not a gold nib, it's a steel nib, but it's a very slim design. And I actually bought this specifically for this notebook because of the color and the profile, and I wanted something very simple to go with the color of the notebook. So that's why I got that. And I found it's actually a great writer. I've really been impressed. I just have the cartridge, the Pilot cartridge that came with it, or although I think I might be on the second one now. This is a medium nib. You can see there. A medium steel nib. And I think it seals really well because it always stays wet, which is fantastic. And because I don't write too often in here, I need a pen that's going to be ready to write even if I let it sit for, you know, a month. And so this has been really great for that because I'll open it up and it will always write, which is great. And I think what I will do, I'll show you the difference in the two papers here. So I'm just going to go on the last page. I'm only going to do a few little squigglies. Okay, so there's that one. And you can see there's a little bit of shadowing, or I don't know if they call it ghosting, on the other page, but it's not bleeding through. And then if you go to this notebook and do the same thing, you can see that it's already having a little bit of bleed on the paper. And then Well, it's actually not as bad as I thought. You've got a little bit of bleed through, but not a whole lot. But the feathering on this page is actually pretty pronounced, I would say. And there's absolutely none on the other paper. I'll show you again. Well, actually, now that it's kind of dried, you can see a little bit of feathering. Well, I stand corrected. So maybe this isn't the best paper either for fountain pens. But, you know, since I'm just writing general notes on it, I'm not really paying that much attention. And then I'll show you, compared to the Estella Gee, I would say, folks, it is about the same. You've got a little bit of feathering going on, and probably about the same amount of bleed through. This is a pretty pigmented black that's in here, so that could be part of the issue. And that's very interesting. All right, and let me just look real quick, actually, at some of the writing that I have done. Yeah, for some reason the writing that I have earlier in here, there's no feathering, so that's very strange. It's very strange that it would feather here and not in my writing earlier in the notebook. Sometimes I wonder if the coding varies by where the pages lie in the book. At the very end, it might be a little bit more saturated with whatever coding they have on there. Yeah, well, you're still getting a little bleed, but it's definitely not as bad as on the last page, so that's kind of interesting. So that's a little bit better. Yeah, and it doesn't bleed through as much. Very interesting. All right, well, I learned something new today. All right, so I'm going to close this up now, but I hope you enjoyed me going through my dream journal there. And like I said, this is really just to show you the setup for my dream journal, and to show you what a black Maverick looks like. I mean, if you've never seen a black Maverick, here you go. So, but that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and go now, but feel free to like and or subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.